In this video, I'm breaking down a powerful multi-million dollar DTC ad strategy that's literally printing money for Ryze Superfoods right now. If you don't know me, my name is Drew Sorello. I've been designing, writing, and building advertising like you're about to see for the past decade plus. 11 years, I think it is. I've scaled DTC companies from zero to multiple millions in revenue, and I'm doing this new series to show you the strategies that you can steal to scale your DTC brand, wherever you're at. But this is specifically for getting from the 7-figure mark to the 8-figure mark. So let's get into it. I haven't seen anybody else talk about this on YouTube, and I'm excited to show you these secrets, especially if you're hitting an income ceiling in your DTC business right now. This is Ryze Superfoods or mushroom coffee, and you can see on their landing page they have different little benefits: happiness booster, sharp focus, gut health, energy, immunity. And this stuff is all well and good, but you need to go a lot deeper than this if you're going to be scaling using ads. And that is actually exactly what Ryze did. This landing page does the bare essentials. People see testimonials, the mushroom blend is here, but the bulk of the selling is taking place on the ads. And I'm going to show you the ads that are scaling them. If they're not already at 8 figures, they're damn close. But first, let's check out a couple ads from 2022. This ad was published March 4th, 2022. This is what most DTC brand ads look like. It's just features and benefits, right? They're saying, here's my product, buy it. Maybe it's like, here's my product, here's some benefits, click this link to buy it, which is fine if you're still not at the 7-figure range, but you hit a ceiling with this stuff. I'm not knocking these ads. They've obviously been successful. This one has 8.7K likes. It probably scaled for a while, but when the ROAS tapers off and you keep trying the same message, this is basically the same message. They tried another headline on this one, but all of these ads are attracting the same people, and that's people who are already sold on or at least open to mushroom coffee. For these ads to work, you have to already believe that mushrooms are going to help you, which is a very specific customer base that is already predisposed to an ad like this. Competitors enter the space, and they're all going after the same group of people that is already predisposed to mushroom coffee. And just like a case in point here, I drink mushroom coffee. I've actually tried Ryze before, and I like it. I mentioned this to my mom, though, and her first reaction to me telling her that I'm drinking mushroom coffee was, why would I want to drink fungus? That's not someone who would see this and would see all this fungus here and be like, oh yeah, I should try this. It's a disconnect for them, right? There's always going to be people who are outside of the immediate customer base who would never be open to ads like this. And if you can reach those people, it's a blue ocean. But as more and more competitors enter the space, ads like this are just competing for attention in a red ocean, which is probably why this ad isn't running anymore. And I'll show you what Ryze is doing now to solve this problem. So if you are a DTC business and you're running ads, you can think of it like fishing on the ocean. And this is your business, like boat, and you got a sail and you're casting out a line and there's a hook. Pretend that's a good hook. So what happens is most DTC businesses are doing these kinds of ads. Like, here's our product, the features and benefits, buy it. And that's only going to attract a certain kind of customer. And we can say maybe the customers inside this circle are enticed by that kind of ad. At first, you might get all kinds of fish, but then another company comes along and enters the market, and then another one does, and pretty soon it's a crowded swimming pool or whatever it is, ocean, and it turns red. We'll just choose pink because there's no red. It's a red ocean, and you have to figure out more ways of reaching customers that are not already predisposed to buying your stuff, because this is a losing strategy after a while. If you're trying to scale horizontally, like most businesses, you probably have an upsell that you're taking them through, and then you have another upsell, or maybe you have a recurring offer. But the point is, this is going to get very hard to do after a while, and you don't need to, because if you zoom out, you are surrounded by a blue ocean full of potential customers that nobody is reaching because nobody knows how to communicate with them. So what you have to do to reach this blue ocean, there's all kinds of customers in here. Customers like my mom, who immediately wrote it off. They would never respond to the ads that are getting these guys to respond. So you need a different strategy. The only way you're going to do that is by reaching people who have never even considered, in this case, adaptogenic mushrooms as a solution to their problem. People like my mom. As long as you keep leading with your product, you will never be able to exit this circle. And that's a losing game after a while, especially as other companies come into the space and dilute the waters, and they're all trying to get the same fish. To reach these guys, you can't even begin the ad talking about about adaptogenic mushrooms. You have to pace and lead the person based on their specific personality and their specific problems. In a second, we'll go deeper into how Ryze is doing this to grow past 8 figures in revenue, and how once you are over here and you're fishing in these waters, it becomes a lot harder for these guys to do what you're doing because very few people have those skills. If you want these clear blue oceans where there's just infinite customers, where you can scale past 7 or 8 figures, you can't do the same things you're using to catch these fish. The fish out here in the blue ocean require different hooks, different bait, and a whole different strategy to reel them in. We're going to go over that strategy right now. But first, if you want to go deeper into this, I've written a Google Doc that explains it a lot more in depth, and I'm linking it below so you can view that in the video area below. I don't know what people call it. I'm not a YouTuber. You know where to find it. Okay, now I'm going to break down a bunch of ads that Ryze is using to dominate in a blue ocean. This first ad has 6.5 million views, so they scaled this to 6.5 million people. In order to reach a blue ocean, you have to reach people who are not at the level of awareness where you just say, hey, I have mushroom coffee, and they buy mushroom coffee. There's a whole persuasion flow to it. And what we're going to do here is map out that persuasion flow. Maybe I'll give you the persuasion maps that I map out here. If you guys ask me, just let me know in the comments. This first ad says 3 signs you have stuck poop in your colon. And it's an interesting graphic there. And one thing about hooks. People scan social media a lot like how our ancestors 300,000 years ago scanned the savannas of Africa. They're looking for 2 things, value or threat. And it can get more complicated than that. There are ways to build on that, but at the base core level, it's either value or threat. This hook is a value hook. Let's dig into it and watch. And I'll break down the persuasion flow for you, and you'll see how they use the same persuasion flow in all of these. Nobody who's attracted by this ad will be attracted by the other ads they're showing, and there's a reason for that.
3 signs you have stuck poop in your colon and how to fix it.
Like I said, value lead. This is going to show you how to fix the stuck poop in your colon. One thing about using terminology like stuck poop is it's probably better than saying constipation, because constipation sounds really medical. And everybody still has a kindergarten sense of humor. Think of the squatty potty. Everybody saw the squatty potty ads. They could have gone the medical route with that. They could have said, had a doctor there, oh, you're squeezing your bowels or whatever. But instead they had a unicorn that poops rainbow shit. Most people relate more to the kindergarten humor, the potty mouth, talking about poop and all of that. And it's also going to show them something valuable. And remember, this ad scale, this ad alone probably made them millions of dollars, and they have many other like it that I was seeing on AdSpy. Okay, let's continue.
1. You feel bloated and gassy. When your colon is stuffed with poop, your digestion slows down and produces gas, which causes bloating and smelly farts. 2. You feel nauseous. The pressure buildup in your colon sends signals to your brain that triggers the feeling of nausea. 3. You feel tired and moody. Stuck poop releases toxins that messes up your hormones that makes you feel tired and moody. I've struggled with constipation.
Okay, so what they're doing right now is pacing and leading. They're talking about the common experiences the customer had, and then they're going to go deeper into it with things the customer doesn't know about that experience. And it works really well when you get it right. There are too many ads that don't know the real problems the customer is experiencing. They haven't done the research, and their ads don't scale. And they get low CPC, bad ROAS, whatnot.
Patient, bloating, constant hunger, and low energy for months. And I couldn't figure out what the reason was. I tried eating more fiber, unprocessed, whole foods, and drinking a lot of coffee. But it didn't matter. My symptoms kept getting worse. Then I found that if you have digestion...
So it's still pacing you. My symptoms just kept getting worse. Even if you only experienced this a little bit, you're going to be paying attention because this is calling out your problems. And it hooked you in with the stuck poop idea.
Digestion problems? Your gut can get jammed with poop. An estimated 14.7% of Americans suffer from stuck poop, and I didn't even know it.
Remember, this ad is for people who are not aware of how Ryze might be able to help them. So it's raising your awareness to the problem slowly. Remember, we're 45 seconds in, and they haven't mentioned the damn coffee yet. They're pacing and leading up to that point and then educating you. Because when you say, I've experienced this too, I know exactly what it's like, and you're describing their problem to a T, and they're like, yeah, that's exactly what it's like, then you become an authority on it. Especially when you can educate them on the deeper reasons why they're experiencing stuck poop or whatever the problem is.
With this in mind, I decided to fix this once and for all. I read a lot of articles and studies. Many recommended laxatives, but then I figured out that most of them are made out of petrol, and I didn't want to put that in my body. They also recommended eating more fiber and exercising. but I already had tried that and it didn't make a difference.
Here's where the ad's going. This is still pacing and leading. He's still talking about the common experiences, and now he's switched to talking about the failed solution. So maybe the customers have tried all of this stuff. Maybe they tried nothing. But when you are sharing this experience with the customer, it's cognitive bias that they will believe pretty much anything you say, as long as you can describe the problem exactly what they're experiencing.
The more I read, the more hopeless I became. I felt like there wasn't going to be a healthy way to clear stuck poop, relieve my bloating, and regain my energy. Right when I felt like giving up, I found an old naturopathic forum that discussed ways to...
So you see this in a lot of sales copy. Like, he was about to give up, but he found this overlooked solution from a naturopathic forum from 2003. Somebody back then, nobody paid attention to it, but he found this secret that was like a hidden gem. That's another persuasion element that can be really effective, especially if you are introducing a solution that the customer hasn't heard of before. Because remember, we're targeting unaware customers, people who would never respond to that initial ad that just said Ryze coffee.
Clear stuck poop. Then I saw something that raised my eyebrows.
Okay, you use copy like this to get them to pay attention, right? Especially if you pace them up to this point and they're in agreement, this guy is experiencing their same problems. If he raises eyebrows, you're going to perk up a little bit more. These tiny little things make a difference.
People mention adaptogenic mushrooms a lot. These adaptogenic mushrooms have been used...
We're 1 minute and 17 seconds in, and he's just now talking about adaptogenic mushrooms. It took all of that time to pace and lead the person watching the ad up to this point.
Used in Eastern medicine for 1,000 years to treat gut issues, increase energy, and improve sleep, among many other issues. I resisted trying them for some time because I didn't know how to get my hands on them.
So they introduced the mushrooms first, which is an important persuasion point. They're not talking about the coffee yet because remember, this audience thinks that mushrooms and coffee are a little bit weird. They want to get it out of the way first, that the mushrooms will help them with their gut issues. So they're selling the mushrooms first.
I resisted trying them for some time because I didn't know how to get my hands on them.
Okay, now we set up another problem. How do you consume them? This seems like a small point, but it has a big effect on the persuasion flow. You sell them on the mushrooms, that individual point, and then you sell them on the coffee. And let's see how he does that.
But then I saw that you can consume them in the form of coffee. Yes, I know, mushrooms and coffee is...
So he's acknowledging that the customer might think it's weird that mushrooms and coffee could go together, because you have to reach people who are not going to immediately say yes when you show your product.
It sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. I found out there's a brand called Ryze that combines coffee with a unique blend of 6 gut-healing mushrooms. Lion's mane has...
They didn't even talk about the product until like maybe 1.5 minutes into that.
Anti-inflammatory properties that protects your gut from toxins and infections, so it always works like a clock. Turkey tail is well known for its prebiotic effects, which can encourage the growth of healthy bacteria that will help digest food faster and prevent stuck poop. Reishi helps to reduce stress, which usually causes indigestion, while cordyceps will help you regain some of that lost energy. The best part is that Ryze has less than half the caffeine of a regular cup of coffee. So
those are just the features and benefits, right? But they're the features and benefits that apply to that specific person with gut issues. They don't talk about the sharp mental focus. They don't talk about all the millions of different features and benefits. And in these other ads, we're going to see them talk about those things, but it's for a specific audience that is largely unaware. So there's nothing else besides the stuck poop problem that they're addressing here.
So you can drink it knowing it won't irritate your bowels. It's also dairy, gluten, and sugar-free. And also, did I mention how delicious it is? Within weeks of taking Ryze, I felt a rush of energy that lasted throughout the day. I had no crashes or jitters, and I had no nausea or constipation. It was like I regained my youth.
Okay, that was a big overarching benefit. So the style that they do is feature benefit, like this mushroom gets you this, mushroom gets you this, and then they make a few big sweeping overarching benefits. Like, I regained my youth is a pretty huge claim, but that's what you end it. It's like the grand finale, right?
All thanks to this drink. And the bloating? Well, you see it for yourself. I went from looking like a balloon to having a flat stomach. It worked like...
I don't think that guy has a flat stomach just by looking at him, but this worked. This ad worked, and even the copy, it worked like magic.
Like magic. Seriously, if you have stuck poop, you need to try Ryze mushroom coffee. If you don't like it, you can get your money back in 30 days. So
there was the CTA. The CTA was, if you have stuck poop, you need to try mushroom coffee, right? He's just like your bro that did all this research for you, and it's like just recommending it to a friend. I think they could have gone a little bit harder with that CTA. Usually when you spend that much time building up a case for your product, maybe do multiple calls to action or spend a little bit more intensity talking about getting the click, it decreases your CPC and often increases your ROAS, but it's all about testing.
If you don't like it, you can get
And then there's a 30-day money-back guarantee.
your money back in 30 days, so there's nothing to lose.
Okay, so you got the basic persuasion flow from that. Let's move on to this next one. This is for a completely different person. And this ad did really well. 17 million views, which means they paid to show this to 17 million people. So it made them millions and millions of dollars. It's important to look at the guy in each ad, or the woman. I think in this ad, we have a woman. It's a guy in an apartment, maybe he's in his late 20s, but that is important because it's matching the customer you are going for. If you smoke or vape, let's keep going.
Smoke or vape, be extremely careful if you're thinking to drink mushroom coffee.
That lead accomplishes several different things. First off, it's a little bit of a threat. Remember how I said value and threat are the two big things that people will stop in their tracks for, especially on social media. Listen to how he worded that.
Be careful if you're thinking to drink
careful
mushroom.
if you're thinking to drink mushroom coffee. It catches attention because this is an ad. Aren't they supposed to be selling you the product? But to be honest, I don't think all 17 million people that this ad was shown to were previously thinking about drinking mushroom coffee. They probably stopped because they know that smoking or vaping is bad for them and they wanted to learn more about whatever he has to say. If you're thinking to drink mushroom coffee, if you know anything about hypnosis, it's an embedded command. So it plants the seed right there. Often a threat will keep people's attention a little bit longer, and then you can slip in, you're thinking to drink mushroom coffee, goes into the unconscious mind and just plants a little seed there. Because he doesn't talk about mushroom coffee for the next minute or so.
Careful if you're thinking to drink mushroom coffee. Cigarette smoke is very tough on the lungs, and that strawberry milkshake vape isn't much gentler either.
People already know that cigarette smoke is tough on the lungs. An excuse a lot of vapors have is, oh, vaping is not nearly as tough on the lungs, right? So when you have a statement that people agree with, and then you say another statement, usually it just goes under the radar, the second statement, and they just agree with it automatically. And the more you can get people to agree with what you say, the more you're building a case for your product, the more sales you have, the more they'll agree to your ultimate request, which is buy your product.
Both contain toxins and free radicals that damage your respiratory tract.
And it's true too. Like, I'm not saying it's not true, but we need to counter the stuff that's in the customer's mind right now.
Especially those tiny little hairs called cilia that line your bronchi. The cilia works around the clock, like a tiny little brush that clears your airways from mucus and dirt. But smoking slowly damages them with inflammation and oxidative stress. And if your cilia gets damaged, they can't clear your airways properly.
Just more dangers that they might not have considered or that they didn't know about. Most people are like, I know it's bad for me, I'm going to quit. But they're not really facing the gravity of the situation because it would be hard to quit. So maybe they're compartmentalizing, they're shoving it off, they're willingly ignoring the risks of smoking to keep their habit going because people develop this habit gravity where it's like a gravitational force that keeps them glued to their habit. And this ad is pretty much shoving it in their face while keeping their attention that there are all these risk factors that are dangerous to them right now. And they used an open loop at the beginning about the risk of drinking mushroom coffee, and they still haven't closed that loop by telling you what it is. And when something is unresolved in your mind, you keep paying attention to it. It's a cliffhanger. You see it in really good TV shows that make you binge the whole season. Watch the show Westworld. They have multiple unresolved plots going on all at once, which are open loops. And before they close one loop, they open a different one so that it keeps you hooked throughout the whole series.
Your bronchi and lungs get clogged with mucus, tar, and dirt. And that's where all these unpleasant smoking consequences come from. Losing your breath, having low stamina during activities, and even your brain fog caused by your brain not getting enough oxygen.
Common experiences. This is the first time we're seeing it in this ad, but we're already getting them to nod their heads in agreement here. Just more pacing and leading.
To work properly. How does this mushroom coffee make things worse? Let's say it's a fast track to...
Okay, this is more of the counterintuitive way to position the mushroom coffee, which is it's going to make it worse. That creates curiosity. That was also in the hook.
Lung recovery, but it won't be pleasant. See, this drink packs 6 adaptogenic mushrooms with extremely potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidative properties. Reishi, shiitake, lion's mane. All of them work together to dial down the inflammation in your respiratory tract, giving the cilia in your bronchi time to recover and heal. And when they do, the amount of mucus you'll be coughing out is massive.
So there's the reason that this coffee is quote unquote dangerous for smokers. Really, that hook was a curiosity hook and a threat hook, and it was a bunch of things in one. It was a great hook. And I wish more businesses did this. I've done this exact kind of thing with so many DTC businesses before, but it positioned it in the front as a threat, and now we're finding out that it's a benefit. He was calling out the unpleasantness that you're going to experience at first if you've been smoking for 20 years or whatever.
I started drinking mushroom coffee for its general health benefits, like better digestion and improved sleep. But I didn't expect it to have an effect on my lungs, too.
So we have general benefits, and then it goes into the specific benefits to this personality, this person who's been smoking or vaping for years.
It's creamy and delicious, and I definitely felt a bump in my energy levels. I kept drinking it every day. But somewhere during the end of the first week, I started coughing out piles of mucus nonstop. And honestly, I feared for the worst. But then the cough stopped altogether, and I just noticed how much easier it became to breathe. My brain fog faded away. I wasn't grasping for air 5 minutes into my workout, and I'm enjoying my morning runs so much more. After all, I've cleared my lungs from years of trapped dirt. So seriously, if you smoke...
So that was the same pattern. They list features and benefits of all of the different mushrooms, and then they build up to this big overarching benefit. I cleaned my lungs of years of trapped dirt. So when you're writing an ad, when you're planning out the persuasion flow of your ad, you want to use this. It's a great grand finale benefit.
Smoke or vape or have any friends or family that do, I can't recommend this mushroom coffee enough. Get ready for a bumpy ride. Clearing all that mucus from your lungs will be tough, but so much worth it. Your first bag comes with free shipping and a 30-day risk-free guarantee. So if you don't feel the effects, just get your money back.
Okay, the money back guarantee. There were a few different persuasion principles here, but it was generally the same structure as the first ad. Not everybody who responds to this ad is going to respond to this ad. This is how you scale horizontally, especially in this market. There's so many people who sell, I think it's wheatgrass, that like a supplement with wheatgrass in it, that can target the same market. But if you're not targeting them specifically and leading them to it, they'll never know. Okay, let's look at this ad number 3. Menobelly, 4.7 million views.
My Menobelly was getting out of hand. I've always been around 170 pounds my
Okay, if you know anything about this market, they love names like Menobelly. I'm not disparaging them. There's probably different reasons you get fat after menopause, but yeah, this works really well for this market. My Menobelly
was getting out of
hand.
And I've always been around 170 pounds my whole life.
This sounds like an AI voice.
Up with my diet, exercised regularly. Then one day it came out of nowhere. The Meno Apron.
The Meno Apron, which sounds like exactly something this personality would call it. If you know any women who are going, like my mom, a lot of them glom onto those names. The Meno Apron. Oh no. Now it's not just fat that's plaguing you, it's a Meno Apron. A lot of people create mechanisms to describe how their product works, but you can create an entirely new name for the problem they're experiencing. And if it's for a specific personality, like a specific market like this, it'll work even better.
Belly poked out so much I couldn't even see my knees. I started drinking more lemon water. I cut out all my sweet snacks and pushed my HIIT instructor to make me skinny again. But nothing worked. I swear on everything that was holy, I was about to get plastic surgery.
So this is the exact same persuasion flow as the stuck poop guy. He tried all these things. This menopause woman tried all of these different things, and none of them worked. And she was about to give up and get plastic surgery.
Until I started venting to my nutritionist about my sudden weight gain. And she said, you can't lose that kind of weight by doing the regular things. That's hormonal fat, and your body won't let it go unless you address the problem.
So there is a different cause to the problem than normal belly fat. This is another persuasion principle that's so good. This guy used it too. This one, not so much. It was a little bit of a different subject, but this guy was talking about how it's a different cause than you thought to the problem you have. And when you say that there's a different cause and give them that revelation, then you can sell them your product, because your product addresses that cause, and it's an explanation why all the other things you were trying weren't working. You can do this not just for menopause women, you can do this for anybody, any market.
Because of the dip in estrogen from menopause, my body thinks it's pregnant and is holding on to all the water, all the fat, just in case a little guy comes out. The only way to get rid of that was surprisingly eating, but not just anything. There have been mushrooms used.
When she said the solution to that was surprisingly eating, and we've seen this a lot with the other ads too. When you say something that is unexpected, they found this in scientific papers. There's an area of your brain called the Broca's area that is constantly trying to predict what's going to be said next. And if it can predict what's going to be said next, it automatically discounts it and you stop paying attention to it. So including little things like that, like the solution, she built all of this up, and then the solution was eating.
The only way to get rid of that was surprisingly eating, but not just anything. There have been mushrooms used for thousands of years, specifically for female hormonal changes, like cordyceps.
Again, we're not using the same features and benefits here. We're using different ones that are tailored to each individual market that we're going after.
And its ability to get rid of water weight and improve energy levels. Reishi is great for improving sleep, reducing stress, and making your body more sensitive to estrogen. Lion's mane helps regulate hormones, reduces brain fog, and boosts memory. I was a little skeptical at first, but she is a nutritionist, so I took her.
But she's a nutritionist. So we had this lady who experienced the same problem, who's often when you say, I experienced all the problems that you did, and then I went on a journey to solve them, and I hit a bunch of dead ends, and then I finally found the solution. That whole flow makes her an authority, but there's double authority here because she got it from her nutritionist. You should have authority in every ad.
Her word on this mushroom chai. It had 6 of those adaptogenic mushrooms in a chai blend, and since drinking it, I've never felt better. The sagging stopped, my belly came back to normal, and I can finally see my knees again. But that's not even the best part. I feel on top of my game emotionally. I've been able to focus on tasks and have much more energy throughout the day. I'm proud to say that
We had benefit, and then we ended with the big benefits, grand finale benefit.
this will be my drink for the next half of my life. If you've been struggling with a Menno apron, my advice is not to try and hit the treadmill to get rid of it. Address the real issue with adaptogenic mushrooms. They
Boom.
have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't see results fast, you can send it right back.
So that was similar. Now we have yet another person. You don't have a dad bod. If you're a guy who's worried about his dad bod, then you're going to pay attention to this and you're going to click the sound on.
It's just cortisol belly. Yep.
So
you don't have dad bod. It's just cortisol belly. Yep.
Again, we're using a new reason that you're experiencing an old problem.
Yep. That stubborn belly fat isn't because you're lazy or out of shape. It's just cortisol, the stress hormone. See, when you're stressed, your body pumps out cortisol, which basically tells your body to hold on to fat, especially around your belly. It's like your body's way of prepping for famine, even if you're just stressed about work or bills. And guess what? It does not care about how many crunches you do or how clean you eat.
The problem is due to cortisol, not because you're eating 5 buckets of KFC a week. It's because you're stressed out. It's a new cause to an old problem. And once you accept that there's a new cause to an old problem, you want to try the thing that addresses the new cause.
Trust me, I had classic dad bod for years. I hit the gym hard, cut out junk foods. I even tried intermittent fasting, but the belly wouldn't budge. It was frustrating. I kept thinking, what am I doing wrong? I even tried to convince myself that women liked it, but deep...
Yeah, how many articles are there going around social media that says women like dad bod? You want to squash that objection. And I don't think it's true anyway, personally, but...
Down, I knew it was a lie. Then one day, I stumbled across this article that blew my mind. It was all about cortisol, the stress hormone, and how it can cause belly fat even if you're doing everything right. Suddenly, it all made sense. I had been stressed out for months, juggling family, work, and all the other craziness in my life. That's when I started researching natural ways to lower your cortisol levels. Then I stumbled
Boom, product shot 59 seconds in. So these are all taking about a minute to get to the product. But that is an important minute. It's raising awareness.
upon Ryze mushroom coffee. It's got 6 powerful adaptogenic mushrooms that have been used for centuries in Chinese medicine to help support natural weight loss. Cordyceps boost energy and metabolism, helping you burn more fat efficiently. Reishi helps you reduce stress, which directly lowers your cortisol levels. Lion's mane improves focus and mental clarity, so you're less likely to be stressed out throughout the day. After just a week of drinking it daily, I felt way less tense, like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. My mind was clear, and I wasn't stressing over stuff that would normally make me snap at someone. The best part? That stubborn belly fat that I had been fighting for months was finally starting to shrink. Just imagine seeing yourself in the mirror and being like, damn! I was seriously proud of myself. It wasn't drastic, but for the first time, I finally felt like I was winning the battle. So
big overarching benefit.
if you're like me and you're tired of fighting that stubborn belly fat, seriously, Give this stuff a shot. It's 100% natural, sugar-free, and vegan-friendly. You can try your first bag risk-free. If you're not loving it, just send back the empty bag for a full refund.
Okay, 15 million views for that. That's a lot of guys who think they have dad bod and want to get rid of them. This ad, easily, this ad and this ad combined made them millions upon millions. But we're not even done. This one scaled to 5.2 million people.
I was about to inject steroids, but then I found adaptogenic mushrooms.
That's the hook. And I know a lot of guys, like a lot of my friends, who are either on steroids or they are thinking about it. So I have direct experience with how well this ad is probably working.
I was experiencing some signs of low testosterone. My morning wood disappeared. I had no drive to pursue women and could not put on muscle for the life of me. I felt like a neutered, tired dog.
Pacing and leading. Pacing with the customer's experience. This specific guy, who is probably in his late 20s or early 30s, starting to decrease testosterone. This is a totally different market, though, than the dad bod guy.
Bloated and depressed, I thought
Maybe not totally different. A slightly different market than the dad bod guy.
maybe a boost of testosterone or steroids could do the trick, but the side effects were insane. Shrinking testy size, low sperm count, enlarged breasts, increased chance of stroke. Yeah, it's a no for me. So no joke, I spent at least
Getting on testosterone is a no. It's not hard to list the risk factors of testosterone.
30 hours of research to find a natural testosterone booster. I came across a few articles about Olympic teams using natural herbs and roots to improve their performance without breaking any rules, and it turns out the most effective herbs.
So for this particular audience, Olympic team are another authority figure that they want to listen to. Elite athletes, this is definitely the type of personality who wants to do what they're doing.
Were actually mushrooms, lion's mane and cordyceps. Not only have these been used by gold medalists, but they also have been common practice for thousands of years in Eastern medicine. So lion's mane can improve testosterone levels. Also,
And when they say thousands of years in Eastern medicine, antiquity is always a persuasion element too. But including the sports guys who take these mushrooms, like that's really important to this particular personality.
focus and memory, and has neuroprotective properties, which is helpful for overall brain health. Cordyceps, or the athlete's mushroom, boosts natural energy levels, oxygenates cells, and improves your libido. Finally, reishi lowers stress and improves sleep, which can otherwise thwart your testosterone production.
Notice how, again, all of the features and benefits are tailored to this guy. They're tailored to guys like this. They're not talking about the menopause ones. They need to be tailored directly to the person you're targeting. And this is an audience of 5.2 million people. And for this one, it's an audience of 15 million, probably more. And no matter what you offer as a DTC brand, you can find personalities who are of a lower awareness to your product, that you raise their awareness through your ad, and you scale it profitably.
Now, look, you don't have to eat thousands of mushrooms or inject anything. Most people are already drinking it in the form of mushroom coffee. So it's like a powerful blend of those adaptogenic mushrooms.
We did the same thing that this guy did, which was introduce the mushrooms first and talk about how they're so great. They're like this crazy supplement that you need to get on.
Mushrooms, plus 3 more potent mushrooms that you can drink in the morning, or like me, right before a workout. I'm on my 6th bag, and after just 3 weeks, it was like waking up from a brain fog. Yeah, my morning wood came back, which was great, but my memory and my mental clarity also improved. It was like day and night. I had sharper focus, I could remember directions easily, and I felt clear-headed. And these mushrooms just don't do miracles, but they sure damn help with the confidence and the libido. It may sound insignificant, but
Whenever he talks about libido, he's like whispering.
I actually started to get my confidence back with women. I would actually look them in the eyes for the first time. Before I wouldn't. That's great. That little spark made me feel like I was getting my mojo back.
So an important thing for this market.
Now, it doesn't make you huge like a bodybuilder, but I'm definitely noticing a better metabolism, and I feel like I'm absorbing more nutrients. I'm slowly gaining more muscle and losing that pesky fat covering my abs. I can definitely see why cordyceps is called the athlete's mushroom. I've noticed heightened energy and higher endurance at the gym, plus a stream of jitterless energy throughout the day. The best part is for me that before these mushrooms, when I got hungry, it was like the anxiety type of hunger, and I'd binge on food. But thanks to the effects of turkey tail, if I get hungry, I can now control it. Now granted, guys, these aren't
All of these features and benefits, again, tailored to this specific person. These would not sell this guy or even this guy. Maybe. There's a little bit of overlap between these two, the dad bod Bod Guy and the slightly younger guy who's losing his testosterone.
Aren't going to solve everything, but they do definitely improve your life. If you've been struggling with signs of low T, like putting on muscle mass and just having low drive, I genuinely recommend trying mushroom coffee first. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't notice a difference, just send it back. It's all natural, sugar-free, and low-calorie. With your first bag, you get free shipping and a free mystery spoon. So what do you have to lose?
So same persuasion flow. You can see how this applies to so many different markets. I was experiencing the problem you're experiencing. I dived into the research. I discovered what's wrong with all the traditional solutions. All the common solutions are wrong. And then I happened upon this overlooked solution, which is the mushrooms. And you'd say different things about the mushrooms according to that individual market, what they want, what they desire. And then you pitch the product and tell them there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now let's go to this lady. Sex is always something that grabs attention in people's news feeds. If it's a value lead, let's take a look.
Before having sex in your 40s and up, watch this. If you drink mushroom coffee before sex, it can intensify your orgasm by 1%.
I'm not sure how you quantify that. Seems pretty subjective. 12 million views on this ad. That's a lot of women who want to intensify their orgasms.
I've been drinking this for a month. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but my husband and I have been going at it so much that I'm wearing him out. I feel like we're teenagers again.
Now, I bet this ad could also be selling men. The main personality is a woman in her 40s who wants to wear her husband out in bed.
And it's not the caffeine in the mushroom coffee giving you that extra libido boost. It's actually the 6 adaptogenic mushrooms.
This is a little bit of a deviation because they don't go into the mushrooms until after they've introduced the coffee in this one. I think the hook was just, this will help you in bed. It worked better. I would assume that they tried the other formula since they used it with other markets, but this one worked better.
Especially the cordyceps, which improves blood flow to your lady parts. And here's the best part. It's all natural. No weird stuff going into your body. Trust me. Try it once and you'll be hooked. If you don't see any changes, just send the empty bag back within 30 days and get your money back.
All right, that was a short one. Only 37 seconds, but it worked, especially when you're using sexual intercourse as a persuasion method. Okay, we only have a couple more. If you think that you can't really do this infinitely, there are so many markets you could target with your product that will allow you to go deep into a market because most people are going to be unaware of your product, especially if you're around the 7-figure letter. You have vast blue oceans that you can dive into, and it's not just these markets that are working.
I gave my 79-year-old dad adaptogenic mushrooms, and what happened next blew me away. All right, for 10 years, my dad's been struggling with joint pain and stiffness, and it slowed him down. It limited his mobility, and honestly, it's just been hard to watch him.
A new personality here is the kid who is finding his dad's aging hard to watch.
Kind of age that way. So I was reading a bunch of studies, and it shows how adaptogenic mushrooms could boost blood circulation and cognitive health. So I thought, why not give it a shot? I didn't want to give up on my dad, so I got him this mushroom coffee. It has 6 antioxidant-rich mushrooms like king trumpet and lion's mane that take just 30 seconds to whip up. At first, I wasn't sure if he'd notice the difference, but within a week, the changes were undeniable. He started telling me that he was sleeping through the night, which is something that he hadn't done in years. And his memory, sharper than it had been in years. It might sound small, but he actually remembered to take off the onions on his hamburger, and sometimes he forgets and he makes a fuss about it. The best part is the stiffness in his joints started to go away. The swelling around his fingers, it's close to non-existent. And when he does get flare-ups, they go away faster.
I don't know how many kids know that about their aging parents, the swelling around his fingers. This might have been targeted towards more elderly people. If you look at the people who liked it, yeah. This is probably for an older crowd, but it's from the perspective of a kid. They don't want their kid to see them aging poorly.
These adaptogenic mushrooms give me a lot of hope and confidence that there are natural things that can help. If you have an aging parent, you can make a difference in their life and get them some Ryze. It's risk-free, and they have a holiday off sale going on right now. So hurry.
So it's possible this scaled to younger people with aging parents, but the more likely audience was the actual aging parents. They don't want their kids to view them like, oh, it's hard to watch my dad get older and all of this stuff. That's the persuasion that's being used there. Okay, next ad. This lady. We only have 2 more. Honestly, I've explained everything at this point. It's going to be pretty self-explanatory. They follow pretty much the same patterns with new problems and new target markets. The last one, by the way, 7.7 million people. This one, 3.6 million people this scaled to.
If you have never-ending mucus, your liver might be the answer. I've had excess mucus since I was a kid, and I've been on and off antibiotics for years, but my throat and sinuses never seem to get better. It always just comes back. And that's because treatments like antibiotics, cough syrup, and allergy medication only suppress the symptoms, not fix the root problem. Here's what's really going on.
Same thing, pacing and leading. I tried this, it didn't work. I tried this, it didn't work. Get the customer to nod their head in agreement. And then give them deeper insight by explaining why what they're doing wasn't working.
I wish somebody had told me this. Excessive mucus usually means your body is trying to fight off toxins, and then your liver is not doing its job properly. Your liver is your internal detoxifier, and if it's overworked, you're getting never-ending mucus because your body is struggling to clean itself. To top it off, taking antibiotics usually damages your microbiome, making it even harder for your liver to function properly. That's why I've been using this Eastern mushroom blend with 6 adaptogenic mushrooms proven to support liver health. It is cordyceps, which is shown to protect liver cells and help combat viruses and bacteria by promoting...
Same thing. I have nothing new to add here because it's literally the same strategy. It's just tailored to a different personality.
Bile production. It has reishi, which has been used in Chinese medicine to improve overall immunity by reducing stress. And if you haven't heard, prebiotics in turkey tail are amazing at balancing the gut microbiome that gets rid of toxins that make it past the liver. I've been taking 1 scoop a day for about 5 weeks now, and I've noticed far less mucus, and my sleep has gotten so much better because I'm not snoring from blocked airways. No more sore throats, and my energy feels amazing. Oh, and did I mention this stuff tastes wonderful? It's a great way to start your mornings. My advice is to stop trying to suppress the symptoms and heal the problem at the source by supporting the liver with Ryze all-natural mushroom coffee.
Boom. And then, of course, the 30-day money-back guarantee. Last one. I lost 14 pounds in 3 weeks. Let's check it out.
I lost 14 pounds in 3 weeks by fixing my chronically high blood sugar levels.
Boom. Another cause of fat. Chronically high blood sugar.
Here's how. The first few symptoms hit me about 2 years ago. Rapid weight gain, fatigue, and tingling sensation in my feet. But there was more trouble to come. I had intense food cravings, which made me pack on extra pounds on my waist, which I did not need. My physician took countless blood tests on me, and besides inflammation all across my body, it turns out I was pre-diabetic. I thought changing up my diet would help, so I jumped on keto, which was apparently working for some people, but having to restrict so many foods was unbearable to me.
I've done keto, but I know a lot of people who just can't do keto. So they're speaking to a specific person here. This is a specific personality that is responding to this ad, and there's 2.4 million of them.
After that, I decided to give a low carb a try. I can live without potatoes, rice, and pasta, but bread is the one thing I can't give up. At that point, I felt hopeless. My doctor wasn't suggesting anything else besides increasing drug dosage and eating healthy. I decided to take matters
And isn't that the experience of so many people in America?
to my own hands and started searching for natural, science-backed remedies that were actually making a difference in people's lives. It was not easy, but that's how I eventually came across this one forum.
I like how he's calling it a forum, but this is probably just the comment section on one of their ads. It's a good forum, though.
Where countless people were raving about how adaptogenic mushrooms are helping people balance their blood sugar. I started diving into the science behind them and discovered that they were treasured for centuries in Eastern medicine for their anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. I knew I needed to try them, but what surprised me was that these people weren't eating them. They were drinking it in the form of mushroom coffee. I tracked down the exact brand that they were using, and little did I know, my life was about to take a turn.
So you can see that this is going through the exact same persuasion flow as the other ads. And let me know if you want me to map this out and give you some kind of like persuasion map that has a step-by-step thing going for how they wrote these ads and all the points you need to hit, because this is a formula that obviously works and it's scaling and you can use it when you apply a new market to it. You have a blue ocean. But yeah, anyway, this is a winning formula that you can follow if you're writing ads. So let's finish this up and then we're going to go back to the notepad.
Taking a turn. It's this mushroom coffee from Ryze, and here's why it works so well. It contains 6 adaptogenic mushrooms that work wonders for your body and mind. You've got mushrooms like reishi, cordyceps, and lion's mane that help improve insulin sensitivity, reduce deep inflammation, regulate stress, and balance your blood sugar. All of them.
These benefits, again, are tailored directly to the pre-diabetic guy. Not to anybody else, not to the menopausal lady, not to the stuck poop guy. They're all tailored to this personality, the person with pre-diabetes.
That and more in just one scoop. I just pour, stir, and sip, and enjoy the health benefits. I've been drinking this every morning for months, and let me just tell you, I feel fantastic. I have all the daily energy I need now, and the constant brain fog is gone, which allows me to focus on tasks. But here's the best part. My appetite regained its balance, so I no longer get those intense food cravings. This led me to drop 8 pounds in 3 weeks because I wasn't mindlessly reaching for snacks anymore. Tell me that's not crazy. Ryze has become a staple in my mornings, and I don't know what I do without it. It's smooth, creamy, delicious, and best of all, it's organic. So I can feel good about what I'm putting into my body. If prescriptions are working for you, by all means, do what works for you. But if you want a natural way to balance your blood sugar and drop some unwanted weight, I genuinely recommend that you give this mushroom coffee a try. You can try your first bag for 30 days completely risk-free. So if you don't see any improvements, return the empty bag and get a full refund. Shipping is
We had a little bit
free,
of
and they even throw in a handmade gift for your very first order.
So the person that responded to this ad is not going to be the person that responded to the liver Mucus Lady ad. It's not going to be the same person that responded to this ad, the 79-year-old dad. It's not going to be like this person. These are all different verticals, different personalities, different people with different problems that the product solves. And you can literally keep carving out blue oceans for your business like this, as long as you know how to start where your customer is at, where the new vertical you're going for is at. A lot of people don't respond to your ads because it is not at their awareness level. They don't know that it can solve their problem. So when you start with where they're at and you do your research and look at your different potential customers and how to reel them in properly, you can literally keep carving out blue oceans for your business like this as long as you know this formula. So the last thing I want you to be thinking is that this strategy only works for mushroom coffee. I've used the same strategy to scale all kinds of businesses, from digital products to physical products, you name it. It works for every market, even B2B, even SaaS, because there are always businesses at a lower awareness level than most of the customers you're getting right now. It's something that very few people know how to do, but when you can do it, it allows you to scale practically infinitely. It takes testing, but it's well worth it. So in order to use this strategy properly, so you can get out of this bloody ocean, and it doesn't mean you don't fish in there, it just means you have a better strategy. Like most people don't even zoom out. Most people are stuck in this one tiny corner of the market forever. But there's a whole ocean out there that is blue. You can find a blue ocean just by knowing the following things. You need to know the details of each personality that you're talking to. You need to know what makes them tick, what their psychology is like, what they have tried before that didn't work. And basically, you need to know how to connect with them and lead them down a path with something that isn't your product. You need to talk about something in their immediate awareness, hook them in, and get them going down the road to understanding what your product is about. Does that take more work? Yes, it does. But the reward is a completely blue ocean full of millions of people, and you reap the rewards of that. I still have yet to find a market that I can't do it in. And when you get this right, it can scale you to 8 figures and beyond, even 9 or 10 sometimes. But so I encourage you to use this. And if you want to learn more about this strategy, I included a Google Doc. Okay, so here's the doc I created that's linked below this video. It goes deeper into how you can bust through DTC revenue ceilings, and this strategy is the most powerful way I've seen to open up new blue oceans for your business. And this is not a new strategy. I break down how Jeep did it in the early 2000s. You can see their sales going up. The Lego company did it. And then we go into how more DTC companies did it, like Allbirds back in 2017 did it, and talk about some of the more recent strategies that DTC brands have been using to do it. If you want to keep learning about advertising and funnel strategy that scales to millions in revenue, I'm going to come out with more videos in the future breaking down multi-million-dollar ads and funnels, along with the strategies I've used to create ads that reliably increase your AOV and ROAS. And I just have so much to talk about. It's like I have never-ending content, but I'm just going to start by breaking down more ads and then see what people want. Let me know what you want to know in the future. And if your business is at the 7-figure level and you're looking to bust into new markets quickly, there's a way at the bottom of this document that you can have me identify the right personalities for your business to scale in, just like Ryze did, so that you can scale horizontally in a blue ocean instead of fighting for traffic in a crowded market. You have to dive in the research to do this, to know each personality carefully that you're working with and know exactly how to pace and lead them to your product. And when you get it right, you saw the results. Like, you can scale it to millions and millions of people who are not being reached by your competitors. I can also show you some of the more inside strategies that I've used to scale companies before that I didn't talk about in this video and that I'm probably not going to talk about about in future videos. So if you're thinking about it, jump on that before I raise it, because it's gonna go up. Other than that, subscribe to my channel. I haven't come out with anything ever on YouTube. I currently have one subscriber, who is my friend Jacob, because I don't have any videos. So this is my first video. So when YouTube is telling me to post an update to my fans, like, I have to get some fans in here, man. I have to admit though, like, it feels a little weird to be talking to a camera. I'm usually the guy hiring other people to talk to a camera for me. So subscribe, and I'm gonna be getting used to talking to a camera and revealing some strategies for growing your business here that I haven't seen anybody else on YouTube talking about, based on my last 11 years scaling companies over the internet. So thank you for watching. Check out this doc in the underbar or whatever it's called. The link is below, and subscribe.